What's up, everybody? PTF week 10. Yeah, double digits. Double digits. That's what week we're in right now. Man, seems like it just started. It seems like when it starts, it flies. You know, at least got the World Series last night. That's always good. Congrats, shout outs to the Cubbies. Took you guys long enough. Jeez, I'm just joking. Congratulations to Chicago on the big World Series win. You guys deserve it. It literally took you 108 years. Hopefully you don't have to wait that long for your next one. But we're not here to talk about baseball. We're here to talk about college football. And looking back at week 9, we had two of our undefeateds fall. West Virginia and Baylor. Mountaineers couldn't get it done. Okie State got the best of them. I mean, what are you supposed to do? And then you had Baylor falling to Texas. That in-state, that old, Southwest Conference rivals right there. You never know what you're going to get. Texas is a roller coaster of a team. And you just can't decide whether or not they want to play good or play well, or if they want to show up or whatever else. So it's a hit or miss team as far as Texas goes. Washington survives against Utah. It was a good game. Pac-12, being on the East Coast, it's hard to follow Pac-12 as much. But Washington looks good. Held in there for the win. Wisconsin is hanging on. I feel like Wisconsin's a team right now that's really being overlooked. If you look at the losses that they have against Ohio State and Michigan, they're two really, really good ball clubs. Even though Ohio State's kind of figuring out, an offense right now for some reason, but they'll get it together. They've got a game this weekend. Better watch them. Auburn is rolling. The Iron Bowl is going to be very, very interesting this year. And Radar, Auburn, yeah. So we shall see as far as that goes. The Gamecocks of South Carolina took down Tennessee. See that coming, but once again, it's one of those rivalries. Tennessee's really hit a skid. They're kind of nosediving right now. Everybody talked about, they got a chance to win the East. This, that, and the other. It's not looking that way right now. Okay, Florida seems to have a pretty good grip on as far as that goes. Florida's got some tough games ahead of them, so we'll see. And last but not least, Clemson going to Tallahassee and hanging on against Florida State. It was a big win for them. Right now, Clemson pretty much is in the driver's seat to win their side of the division, and I picked them to win the conference altogether. But that's where it is. Talked about our Heismans. We had some performances this weekend. Get into our conferences, and of course, week 10. All right, Heismans. We haven't had a big difference as far as my top 4 go. JT Barrett really seems to be sliding out as far as being in the top 3 altogether. Ohio State's really struggling as far as an offense goes. So I'm still going to have him in the top 4. He's sliding a lot, and if there's not a strong showing this weekend, I think Barrett can pretty much kiss his Heisman hopes goodbye. I mean, he's still got a possibility to even be invited, but the way they've been playing, it hasn't been looking well. So I'm going to put Mr. Browning from Washington at number 3. I think that the way that he's running the offense up there, Washington's got a shot to make the playoffs this year. I don't really see anybody else in the Pac-12 maybe going to hang with them, but it's always those sleeper games. But for now, Browning's my number 3. Number 2, Watson, Clemson. I mean, the dude's undefeated. They might not put him astronomical numbers, but undefeated. Wins against Louisville. Florida State at home. Florida State gave them everything they had. A lot of youth affected Florida State, I think, in that game. But regardless, Watson's still, he's running the show. I mean, it's his team. So he's my number 2. Number 1's number 1. I don't see this changing throughout the year. Their schedule Louisville's schedule for the rest of the year just has highlight reel wrote all over it for Lamar Jackson. I don't see anybody. First off, no one can stop him. There's not a team in this country that can stop him. They don't have Lamar Jacksons all over the field, so obviously Louisville's not the best team in the country, but Lamar Jackson is the best player in the country, and no one is a better athlete than he is. He was the Heisman in week 3. Here we are in week 10, and there's no one that's even remotely close to him. So Lamar Jackson's my number one. Like I said, as the season draws closer, I think we'll just be able to. I mean, right now, Lamar Jackson is number one. I don't see anyone else passing him. Cook from Florida State had a hell of a game. He shows that he's very good, but with Florida State's 3 losses, it's just not there. Leonard Fournette, coming off those bad games against Ole Miss, put on a hell of a show out there, but you can't miss 5 games or 3 games or whatever it was and expect to be in the Heisman conversation unless you just start putting up 200-300 yards a game. And with them playing Alabama this weekend, I don't see that happening. So that's it for our Heisman. Let's talk about our conferences and then get into the big games in week 10. Conferences. Now, I know the Big Ten is still the best team in the country, or the best conference in the country. I've been saying that for weeks now. Yes, the SEC has some good teams. I think there's a lot of question marks in the SEC. I don't think Florida might not be as good as everyone says they are or thinks they are. I know they're number 11 right now in the polls or something like that. But, we'll see. I still think the Big Ten's it. Wisconsin is a very, very good football team. Their losses, I mean, look at the teams they've lost to, so you can't count them out there. Ohio State is still good. Me personally, I think Ohio State's kind of, I think they looked past Penn State and it came back to bite them, plus it was a rivalry game at Happy Valley. But Ohio State's got some big games, and I feel like they're almost holding back until they get to those big games, which is a very good possibility because everybody does it. Then you have Michigan. And I'm going to say this, and as crazy as it may sound, I think Michigan is one of the few teams in the country right now that can beat Alabama. Their defense is solid. Their offense is good enough to put up points. I think that Michigan is the only team in the country right now, player for player, team against team, that can match up against Alabama, and that's Michigan. So that's why I think the Big Ten is the best conference in the country. Now, I know I've been saying the ACC is up there with them, and I think the ACC has 5 teams in the top 25 this week, which is good. Virginia Tech's in the top 20, North Carolina's in there, Florida State's got 3 losses, Louisville, Clemson. Are they better than the SEC? I'll call it a tie. Okay, Auburn's coming out. I don't think Florida's as great as everyone thinks they are. Texas A&M is still good. Alabama's still the best. Ole Miss kind of, Mississippi State, no. South Carolina, garbage. Georgia, whatever. It is what it is. I'll call it a tie, and I'll argue it all day. Okay, Tennessee's really taking a nosedive out. The East is not all there as far as the SEC goes. Obviously, it's in the West. But I'll call the ACC and the SEC tied for second. Next is the Big 12. They can score points, but they can't play defense. Okay, Oklahoma is my pick to win the Big 12. TCU has fallen off. You have Texas winning games and then losing games and winning games and losing. You have Oklahoma State that can't decide whether or not they want to win or lose or be good or not, and it's all over the place. So I'm going to take Oklahoma still to win that. In the Pac-12, you have to say Washington. There's no one there that can play with Washington right now in the Pac-12. Stanford's completely fallen off. USC was a bust. It's in shambles. And Utah was probably their best bet. Now, if Washington loses one from here on out, it's probably a game that they shouldn't. But that's the beauty of college football. So that's our conferences. Let's talk a little bit about Week 10 because I'm excited. Week 10. Jesus, Week 10. So, we got some good ones this weekend. Starting off Thursday night, you got Oklahoma, Iowa State. This is always a game that Thursday night, Oklahoma upset alert, I don't think so. They might hang early, you know. Oklahoma is struggling on defense, but they can score all day, every day. There's nothing you can do to stop them. Oklahoma's going to win this game, double digits, no issues. I don't care where it is. Oklahoma over Iowa State. Getting into Saturday, a big ACC matchup game. UNC, Georgia Tech. UNC is praying that the Hokies lose to one of their 3 final games. Georgia Tech is just trying to get to a bowl game. And last year, Georgia Tech ran all over North Carolina. Is it going to happen this year? They might. I don't see Georgia Tech's defense being able to stop Trubinsky. I think UNC is going to put up points big over Georgia Tech. Miami, Pitt, both of these teams. Pitt lost to Virginia Tech last week. Kind of shut the door as far as their coastal division hopes went. Miami's in a skid. 4 games, nose diving. They were number 10 in the country 4 weeks ago. Everyone was talking about the U is back. You know, whatever. They're not. Thank God. No, I'm just kidding. But regardless, Pitt's going to win this game. Miami is hurt too much on defense right now. And James Conner is a monster. So I'm going to take Pitt over Miami. Maybe not big, but I think I'm going to take the Panthers. Miami's going to hit 5 games in a row losing. Okay. Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Oklahoma State with a big win over West Virginia last week. I'm going to go with they're going to keep rolling. I'm going to take Oklahoma State over Kansas State. Arkansas, Florida. Now, isn't that something? Well, I actually am going to take Arkansas on this one. Florida's defense is solid, but their offense has been a question mark from here to there. I know they're finally starting to get rolling. I'm going to take Arkansas, and if they don't win, it's going to be close. But that's going to be my upset alert pick for this weekend is Arkansas, Florida. NC State, Florida State. Now, Florida State has way too much talent to lose 2 games in a row. NC State pushed Clemson, probably should have won the game, pushed Clemson to the max, took them, missed field goal, kickers are everything. Not this time. Florida State will roll over NC State, okay? Florida State has too much talent to lose. They have too much pride to lose two straight. They've lost 3 this year. Forget about it. It ain't going to happen, okay? Iowa, Penn State. Penn State coming off a win, against Ohio State a couple weeks ago. It's a big win for the Nittany Lions. Iowa they're good, they're not good, they're good, they're not good, they're good, they're not good. Penn State, I think they put up like 60 points or something last weekend, which is crazy because they're not a huge scoring offense. Regardless, running with the Lions on this one. The Lions. Penn State over Iowa. Coming into the big games. Nebraska, Ohio State. Now, Nebraska, Wisconsin, great game last week. The Badgers pulled it off. I've been saying this from the beginning. Ohio State is, I still think, going off record, I have to say the Michigan's probably the favorite to win the Big Ten now. Ohio State is still a good football team. Do not sleep on them. I'm going to take the Buckeyes over Nebraska. I think it's in Nebraska, but I'm going to take the Buckeyes over Nebraska. They've been holding out for these big games finishing the end of the year. Ohio State over Nebraska. California, Washington. Now, the past, 5 years, California has recruited the offense. They can score points quickly, but they can't play defense. Washington can play defense. Washington's going to win the game because they can play defense. This will be a scoring game. People will be putting up points in this one. Browning and Webb, shootout. Washington is going to pull it off, but a very high scoring game. And the game of the night, one that I'm looking forward to. Fournette is rested. Alabama is rested. They're both rested. Everybody's rested. A night game. Bama, Tigers, tied LSU in Baton Rouge, in Death Valley. It's going to be intense. I wish I could be there. It's going to be loud. They're going to put, put the stadium in the Richter scale again, and that might be the end of it. I like what LSU's been doing since Les Miles left, but I don't think that they are the team that's going to beat Alabama. Yes, it's a rivalry. Yes, it's in Death Valley. Yes, Fournette's back. Are they going to be able to have the quarterback play to take LSU's offense two-dimensional? Make Alabama not be able to stack the box, cover receivers. That way it opens up Fournette the run and also the passing game. I don't think they can do it. I don't know if LSU's defense is going to be able to hold Alabama down. I just don't. I like LSU. I like to root for LSU. My family is LSU. Half of my family is LSU. I can't do it. I'm going to take Alabama on this one. I'm not going to say Roll Tide because I'm going to be going for the Bayou Bengals. So, that's that. Sorry, Tigerland. That's it for PTF Week 10. The season is drawing close to being over, and that sucks. But it is what it is. Everybody enjoy Week 10. We'll see you back here next week.